It's Raven Boy Wonder here. Man, I've been gone for a really long time, but I'm back now. Um, I'm not gonna really trash talk because it's at the end of the season and I have lost my chance. If you can hear my voice, might sound a little different because I had to get some teeth pulled out. Kind of sucks. But yeah, just gonna talk about the Ravens, the past games that I've been watching, and how the Ravens are doing so far this season. I'm gonna start off with the offense because the has been consistent and then inconsistent. And when I mean inconsistent, Chargers game last week. What else? Seattle. Big games that we need to win, and we only won one out of those three games I just named. Ravens need to step it up offensively. The running game, I think it needs to keep going. I think it's gaining a little bit of steam. So if we keep running the ball, I think our running game will be where it should be. Passing game wise, Anquan Boldin's out for the remainder of this season. He'll be back in the playoffs. But that is a huge hit because now it makes our receiving core look below average just because of Lee Evans. Lee Evans has not produced, but in his place, our two tight ends have, and Ed Dickson and Dennis Pitta, and Torrey Smith as well. I don't want to. This receiving core that we have, including the tight ends, it's only been those three that's been really putting in the work, and Ray Rice. And I really do hope that he gets a new contract, but that's besides the point. This offense really does need Bolden back. Joe Flacco last game, I mean, his numbers were not that good, but at the same time, the receivers, Ed Dickson dropped a couple passes. Guys were dropping a couple passes, and it's really showing how weak our receiving core is without Bolden. And I think we really do need him back. And I do believe we play Cincinnati next week. So if we're playing Cincinnati, they gotta step up their game. Cincinnati has a top 10 defense, and that's going to be a good game. Defensively, can't say much about the defense because they've really done a really good job. Terrell Suggs is having a phenomenal year. I mean, defensive MVP worthy. Now, these last two games, he hasn't really done anything, but that's because these guys are really just chipping them and getting their lineman push. It really falls on the other guys to create that rush. Can't just be Terrell Suggs. But I'll admit that we're number one in the league right now in sack, if I can remember it. So they've stepped up, but we need more because Terrell Suggs is really the guy that's causing the pressure, really pushing the guys. Him and Halui Nana a little bit. Ray Lewis and that linebacking core has been playing great. The defensive line's been playing great. The secondary is the weakness of the Ravens defense once again, but it's not that weak. I do believe that if we can get a Chris Carr from last year type player back, our defense will look really good. And the Ravens just have to keep putting Chris Carr into the game. I know he's been playing bad, but that's the only way Chris Carr can really come back to that good form that he was last year. Because honestly, like I said in past videos, Chris Carr to me was our best corner because he was covering guys like Wes Welker. I can't remember the rest, but when he was playing the Patriots and covering Wes Welker, he was doing a really good job. So I think that if we can get Chris Carr back, our cornerback squad would be pretty strong. Jimmy Smith, he's still working in as that starting rotation corner, but he does need some work, and it's been shown in the Chargers game Granted, the Chargers do have crazy tall and fast and strong receivers. It did show. I know that a lot of fans have been saying where's Ed Reed been, but you can't really, it's not like he's lost a step or anything. Guys are just not throwing his way. The one thing I couldn't act on Ed Reed is his tackling this year. Against the Browns games, against the last game against the Browns, they had Greg Little dead to rights in the backfield, and Ed Reed went in for a shoulder tackle, which I thought was pretty. I didn't like it. I really didn't. That's something you have to wrap up, and if you don't get him down, just hold him until the other guys get him down. Because of that missed shoulder tackle, he gained yards instead of losing yards. So if I'm the coaches, talk to Ed Reed about that. Tell him to really try to wrap up instead of making these shoulder tackles. And Bernard Pollard, he's been playing some good football. Like I said, I can't really talk about defense because defense has been playing really good, and that is what has been keeping us in games. Special teams, we did give up a punt return to Joshua Cribbs, but John Harbaugh, like he said, is just the punt. He as soon as he saw it, he didn't like it, and it obviously became a touchdown. I think special teams has played all right. We have given up some touchdowns on special teams, but you're not going to play a perfect special teams the whole year. So, special teams need. The one thing I do have to say is we do need to get a kick returner. We need to find a way, because I don't want Ladarius Webb as our kick returner because he's our best corner. So it's just like, you don't want him getting hurt, and he coming out of that Chargers game, he was already hurt. Coming out of that Chargers game, he was hurt, so you don't want to see that. Or I said Chargers coming back from the game before. I can't remember which game that was. I can't remember, but he didn't play the Chargers game because of that. We do need a kick returner. We need to find that out. I would rather us put Tom Zbikowski, even though he is a very good rotation on our defense. I'd put him as our kick returner because we can use Hiroki if we don't want to. It's just that we have Hiroki, so I'd rather have him as our kick returner. And then our offensive line, we did take some beating last game. We did take some injuries. It was Marshall Yonda, I believe, that got hurt, and one more player, if I can. It's on the tip of my tongue, I just can't. Hold on, I'm actually gonna look this up. I don't know if you can. Hold on, because that other injury was pretty big as well. Marshall Yonda and sorry guys, 5. Looking this up, so I'm not gonna do a retake because my jaw's already killing me. I can't remember. I'll have to look it up later. But Marshall Yonda's big injury it was a big injury. Oh, Kerry Williams. There you go. See, I knew it. I had it to my tongue. Kerry Williams, who came out of that game with a concussion. Those are pretty big losses, seeing as we're gonna play Cincinnati next week. Out of those losses, I really do wish we had Marshall Yonda back, because Marshall Yonda, when he really is the reason why our run game has been producing, him and Ben Grubbs. And losing one of those two, it's kind of a huge hit. So hopefully he'll come back. From the sounds of what John Harbaugh is saying, I don't think he's going to come back. I think Ben Grubbs, Andre Garrard will be taking his place, which is not bad. But then again, when Andre Garrard was in there, our run game, it was kind of shaky. even though it is even it's funny because even when Andre Guard was even when Marshall Allen was there, our run game was still kind of shaky. Uh, it'll be interesting to watch. I'll keep it as that. It'll be interesting to watch. Um, there's nothing else I can really say. Uh, the Bengals game will determine if we hold that second seed, first, second, or maybe the fifth seed, which would suck if we get the fifth seed. But nothing much I'll say. I'll won't trash talk at the. I won't trash talk against Cincinnati because I feel like I'm coming late. Just go into playoffs and then just try trash talk there a little bit. Sorry I've been late. I've been really busy, guys. Sorry about that. And then this jaw that's getting to me. But sorry, it's just my fault, guys. Raven Boy Wonder, love you, RG. Peace out. I'm out. And fuck you, Cincinnati.